And I don't mean this facetiously when I say that Shadowlands may be the best expansion World of Warcraft has seen to date. You take the PvP system, all the RNG is taken out of it, you can upgrade your gear right alongside the current raid tier. You've got good PvE, good mythics, good raiding, you've got an excellent storyline, well-crafted zones, a deep covenant system, fun and engaging content without all the bullshit. And that's what World of Warcraft's been missing for a little while now. I personally think that Shadowlands might go down as one of my favorite expansions, and I'm only a few days into it. Welcome to the video, guys. I wanted to talk a little bit about Shadowlands, my impression so far, and just long story short, I'm loving this expansion. So let's talk about it. Covenants. Covenants might be one of my favorite parts of this game. I didn't think I was really going to enjoy it. I thought it was going to be more of the same kind of cobbled together garrison system, but that's just not the case. Doing dailies, doing world quests, collecting anima, and upgrading my sanctum actually feels fun and rewarding. And here's the kicker. While it does have some conveniences tied to it, like with the portal system, with the mission tables, etc., it's not the main focus. My main focus is getting towards that covenant gear, upgrading my conduits. And speaking of conduits, that's a whole bag in and of itself. Being able to mix and match essentially what become glyphs, glyphs from yesteryear, is actually fun and engaging. Going out, finding the upgrades for these things is actually relatively exciting. Doing the mission table is actually a heck of a lot of fun because it doesn't always play out the way you think it's going to play out. As you can see behind me here, that didn't play out the way I thought it was going to, particularly considering the type of champions that I sent on that mission. Overall, though, I'm really enjoying the Covenant system. I think it's going to be fun and rewarding in the long run. And at this point in time, it is 100% one of my favorite parts of this expansion. Granted that the Covenant system is going to be a long-term project for my character, it's something that I'm actually invested in, particularly with the renown system. While it's not exactly alt-friendly, much like the conduit system is, it's rewarding, it's fulfilling, it gives me a sense of purpose. I want to upgrade my teleport network to be able to travel to all the different zones. I want to be able to redirect anima to any part of the zone that I want so I can reap the rewards of that area. I can change that once a day if I need to. But most importantly, you get some sick transmog. So going off of transmog, let's talk about gearing for a minute. Best in slot is king again. There is a set amount of gear that you can go after that will be the best gear you can get, and it has nothing to do with Titan forging. There's no random upgrades involved with it. It's simple, it's elegant, it's what we've been asking for a while now, and we finally got it. You can get some gear through World Quest. It's not the best, but it's good starter gear. You can get it through PvP, through vendors. Yeah, that's right, we'll be talking about that. You can get it through dungeons, and gone is the disappointment of, you know, last week you got your best gauntlets, but this week they Titan Forge, so you need to go get a new enchant or do something with it again because now this one's the best. That shit's out the window, and that's excellent. That's something that I can get behind. Titan Forging's still there, but typically only for quest items, not for your best in slot gear, and that's what I've been looking for a while. Speaking of dungeons, the dungeons that they do have are compelling. They're fun. They can be challenging, particularly if you're under-geared. They can be a little bit tough, but that's the whole point. They're fun. And now when you kill a boss, there's no disappointment at the end. There's no just Azerite power dropping. If you don't get something, at least you get a little bit of gold, but you're not being frustrated by the system you hate being thrown in your face over and over again every time you kill something. Now it's just simply, oh, I didn't get anything off that boss, let's move on, let's get to the next boss. There's no triggering of that thought process where it's like, oh, why was that only worth 250 Azerite power? That's gone. I don't have to worry about the gear Titan forging. Whatever piece of gear drops that I get, that's it. That's the best gear that I can get for the moment. And I don't really have a whole lot more to say other than that. That's what I've been looking for. That's what I've wanted. I got it. Speaking of dungeons, the dungeons that they do have are compelling. They're fun. They can be challenging, particularly if you're under-geared. They can be a little bit tough, but that's the whole point. They're fun. And now when you kill a boss, there's no disappointment at the end. There's no just Azerite power dropping. If you don't get something, at least you get a little bit of gold, but you're not being frustrated by the system you hate being thrown in your face over and over again every time you kill something. Now it's just simply, oh, I didn't get anything off that boss. Let's move on. Let's get to the next boss. There's no triggering of that thought process where it's like, oh, why was that only worth 250 Azerite power? That's gone. I don't have to worry about the gear Titan forging. Whatever piece of gear drops that I get, that's it. That's the best gear that I can get for the moment. And I don't really have a whole lot more to say other than that. That's what I've been looking for. That's what I've wanted. I got it. Speaking of gearing, let's talk about PvP, because there's been some real big changes when it comes to PvP. First off, the vendors are back. That was something that we were claiming for in Battle for Azeroth. We wanted vendors. We finally got them. So now you can do your battlegrounds, and you know for certain after so many battlegrounds, you're going to pick up whatever piece of gear you're looking to get. So if you're a melee and you know your biggest upgrade is going to be a new weapon, you can go straight for that weapon. Everything tends to start off around the same item level, but here's the kicker with the PvP system. You can now upgrade your gear to keep up with the current raid tier. So if you get your set of honor gear and you continue to play battlegrounds on repeat, just keep grinding it out, you can upgrade that gear and get up to the current raid tier. But wait, there's more. The Conquest vendor's back, and you can do the same thing there. So if you know what upgrade you need most at the time, you can go ahead and do that and continue to upgrade your regular honor gear to try to keep pace with it. Granted, your Conquest is going to be your best in slot gear, but the fact that you're able to upgrade your honor gear to try to make up some of the gap in between during cap weeks is a good thing. Also, speaking of PvP, not only is Arena back, so are rated battlegrounds, because now there's a reason to do it. Conquest. Rated battlegrounds, one of the easiest way to cap Conquest for the week, and I think that's an excellent thing. I'll see you guys in the rated battlegrounds. So let's talk about the story. The story of the Shadowlands is actually interesting. Each zone has its own type of story or its different point of view, and the fact that each zone is interconnected with how they're interacting with each other, they're all afflicted by the same problem, but it gives good context for it, makes it feel worthwhile to be doing. I'm a huge fan of the story so far. It's new, it's fresh, it's outside of the normal realm where it has the majority of its bases set in the Warcraft 3 timeline. This is completely new, and it's well written. I'm really enjoying it. The story of trying to restore these different realms to power is compelling and interesting. There's nothing more I can say about it. The story is good. It loses a lot of its Battle for Azeroth, 5 main character driven story plots. For now, in the expansion, Anduin and all that bunch are off in the mall, trapped or whatever. We don't have to deal with Thrall. We don't have to deal with Jaina. Apparently, Rhonda's somewhere. We have no idea where she is. Generally, it's good. My favorite storyline so far has been Ardenweald. My second favorite story has been Maldraxxus. My third, Revendreth, and coming in last place, and I think rightfully so, is the Kyrians. But only because that type of storytelling isn't for me. I'm not the virtuous type. I don't enjoy the church overtones. So, hey, If I have feelings about the story, it must be good. And lastly, let's talk about endgame. The mall, not a super interesting zone, in my personal opinion. It has a lot of BFA and I feel Cataclysm type vibes tied to it. You can only be there for a short amount of time before the jailer pulls you out or whatever, or you're hunted. Overall, I just don't think it's a well-crafted zone. I'd like to see Blizzard do something else with it. That being said, it's not the end-all be-all. Yes, there's things to do. You need to go get Stygia, but realistically, you're only looking at spending an hour, maybe 2 hours in the mall a week. And that's going to be it. Then you don't have to go back. So, moving on from the mall, because in my opinion, I think it's the weak point of the expansion at this current moment. Let's talk about Torghast. Torghast, the never-ending dungeon. Actually a hell of a lot of fun. Doing the different levels is challenging, and I mean actually challenging. You pick up different powers as you go through Torghast. So maybe you pick up an anima power every time you drop a totem. You drop 2 totems, 2 random totems. That's a lot of fun. The different things they do through the anima powers makes it fun and interesting and a new experience each time you go through it. The layout's different each time you go through it. The mob placement, sometimes it really screws you. Sometimes it's a cakewalk. That's the whole point. It's enjoyable. And once you've completed each level, you can just do the max level and gain everything that you were supposed to get from all the other levels beforehand. So, just say, hypothetically, you get up to level 8 in an area. When you do that level 8 once a week or whatever it is, you will collect all the rewards from all the other levels all at once. You won't have to do them. You won't have to spend a ton of time with it. And overall, I think it's a very well-crafted system. It's something I'm particularly interested in, particularly since it pertains to the legendary system, which crafters can now create. So I'm really looking forward to Torghast. And with that, I'm just going to wrap up the video by saying, I think Shadowlands is good. If you've been out of the game for a while, I definitely think it's worth coming back. A while ago, they changed all the class specializations, so they all feel unique. They added in a bunch of the flavor things that made each class feel special. So, for an example, now all shaman have healing stream totem, whereas last expansion they didn't. It was a restoration only totem. So each class has had its flavor items added back in. Each spec feels different and fun. Some classes got overhauls for different specs, so it's definitely worth checking out. Like, say, for an example, you were a Shadow Priest. Shadow Priests are really good right now. Might be worth coming back and checking it out. Let's say you were a Ret Paladin. Ret Paladins are probably in one of the best spots they've ever been in. Let's say you were an Elemental Shaman. Elemental is its own rigmarole now. It's its own thing. So, if you are a player who wants to know if you should come back to World of Warcraft to try out Shadowlands, my answer is unequivocally going to be yes. You should definitely come back and give it a try. With that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap up this video. I stream weekly at midnight on all platforms. If you'd like to join me, hop in at midnight, come have a chat. I'm getting really close to unlocking 1080p 60 FPS over on my Facebook page, so I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video. If you could just go follow the page. I don't care if you watch me, that's cool. I'm just trying to unlock 1080p 60 FPS across all the platforms. That way, it's quality. It's a quality issue. I want people to be able to enjoy what I'm doing, and Facebook is my weakest platform. So if you would not mind taking the time out of your day to go over and follow my Facebook page, I'd super appreciate that. That being said, thanks for watching, guys, and Braxis out.